What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is week 7 of my NFL game predictions. And last week I went 11-4, putting my current record at 62-30-1. And starting off this week tonight in about an hour, we have the Steelers taking on the Bengals. I have the Steelers winning 22-10. The Steelers, they took care of business last week against the Cleveland Browns and a rookie quarterback, and the Bengals were... Well, the Bengals, they lost. They had Joe Flacco starting, and he looked a little better than I thought he would, but it's about what you expected. And I don't see anything crazy happening here. I think the Steelers are going to win this pretty easily, and nothing crazy here. All right, we're heading to London for tea and crumpets. We have the Rams taking on the Jags. I actually have the Jags winning 20-17. Last week, the Rams were able to beat the Ravens pretty easily, and the Jags, they lost last week to the Seahawks. And that game was pretty rough for them. But here's the thing. The Jags always play in London, and they always play pretty well in London, too. This is kind of like their second home. I think because of that and the Rams being as banged up as they are, Puka Nacua is actually not going to be playing in this game. I got the Jags winning. All right, next up we have the Saints taking on the Bears. I have the Bears winning this one 23-17. Last week, the Saints, they put up a fight against the Patriots, but they couldn't close it out, and the Bears were able to win in dramatic fashion against the Commanders. So good for them for getting revenge for last year's, Hail Mary. And I think this game, it's going to be close because the Saints play teams close, but the thing about the Saints is they're just not talented enough to win games. So I have the Bears winning this one. All right, next up we have the Dolphins taking on the Browns. I have the Browns winning this one 23-20, and the Dolphins last week choked against the Chargers. They had that game and they just couldn't close it out. And the Browns, they lost to the Steelers in a game that went about as I expected. And I think the Browns, they're at home, and Dylan Gabriel, to be honest, I don't think he's that bad. I think he can light up the Dolphins defense because the Dolphins defense is terrible. And I think the Browns are going to win this game. All right, next up we have the Raiders taking on the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs winning this one 31-14. The Raiders were able to get a win against the Titans last week, and the Chiefs were able to actually look pretty damn good on Sunday Night Football against the Lions. And the Chiefs are actually going to be getting Rashee Rice back for this game, so... that's just even better for the Chiefs. So I think they're going to win this game pretty easily. They're a good team, and the Raiders are not. All right, next up, we have the Eagles taking on the Vikings. I have the Eagles winning this one 17-14. The Eagles surprisingly lost again on Thursday Night Football to the Giants pretty convincingly, and the Vikings had a bye week last week. And, I think this would be a really good game. I could honestly see it going either way, and I think J.J. McCarthy's going to be playing in this game. But the Eagles, they're more talented, and I think it's only a matter of time until they get back on track, and I think they will with a win over the Vikings. All right, next up we have the Panthers taking on the Jets. I have the Panthers winning this one 28-21. The Panthers were able to get a shocking victory over the Cowboys last week, and the Jets, they lost in London to the Denver Broncos in very humiliating fashion. And the Panthers, I'm not going to lie, they were looking pretty good after that Cowboys win and that Dolphins win. They have a 2-game win streak, and honestly, I think they're going to win this game pretty convincingly, and the Jets are going to do what they do to a lot of teams and just... window dress the score at the end of the game, make it look better. But in reality, the Panthers are going to win by more than what the score will indicate. But anyways, Panthers will win, and the Jets will fall to 0-7. All right, next up, we have the Patriots taking on the Titans. I have the Patriots winning this one 24-21. The Patriots were able to squeak one out against the Saints last week, and the Titans... they lost to the Raiders last week, and that resulted in Brian Callahan being fired. And you might ask yourself, why do I have this game so close? The Patriots are a good team, the Titans are a bad team. Well, the Titans, they are at home, and they fired Brian Callahan. And usually when a coach gets fired from a team, the very next week, that team will play inspired football. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I don't think the Titans will win, but I do think they will make it close, hence the close score. But I still think the Patriots are going to come out on top. All right, next up we have the Giants taking on the Broncos. I have the Broncos winning this one 21-14. The Giants shocked the world on last Thursday Night Football and crushed the Eagles, and the Broncos, they won but looked pretty bad in London against the Jets. And honestly, I could see this being a really good game. I am going to go with the Broncos because they're at home, and I do think they are overall a better team. And also, the curse will curse the Giants of all teams. So, yeah, they've got the three things going against the Giants. So, yeah, I'm going to pick the Broncos and hope that I'm right. All right, Indiana Jones and the Colts will be playing against Justin Herbert and the Chargers. I have the Colts winning 31-28. The Colts were able to win against the Cardinals despite the Cardinals giving them a scare. And the Chargers were able to not choke. They almost choked, but they didn't against the Dolphins. And honestly, this is going to be one of the best games of the week, in my opinion. But I'm going to give it to the Colts just because they're not as banged up. The Chargers don't have Amari and Hampton playing in this game. And I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be a big difference maker for the Colts. And so because of that, I got the Colts winning this game. All right, next up, we have the Packers taking on the Cardinals. I have the Packers winning this one 30-24. The Packers were able to take care of the Bengals last week, and the Cardinals, they came up short against the Colts last week. And yeah, I think this is going to be a close game because the Cardinals, for some reason, always make every damn game they play close. And I think this is going to be a perfect example of that. I think it's going to be extremely stressful for Packers fans, more stressful than they'd like it to be, but I do think they're still going to come out with the win, and they will improve to 4-1-1. All right, next up, we have the Commanders taking on the Cowboys. I actually have the Cowboys winning this one 27-23. Last week, the Commanders lost a heartbreaker to the Bears last week. And the Cowboys, they lost a heartbreaker to the Panthers last week. I think both of these teams really need to get back on track if they want to contend. And I think the Cowboys, I think they're going to get away with one here. I think the Cowboys, they're at home. They're not as injured. I think CeeDee Lamb's actually going to be coming back for this game as well. So that'll help the Cowboys even more. And yeah, I think Cowboys will upset the Commanders. All right, and on Sunday Night Football, we have the Falcons taking on the 49ers. I have the 49ers winning 27-20. The Falcons were able to shock the Bills last week on Monday Night Football, and the 49ers unfortunately lost to the Bucs, and they lost Fred Warner for the season. And I could see the Falcons winning this game, but I honestly, I don't really trust them. I think they're a little too inconsistent. And the 49ers have one of the most banged up teams you could possibly imagine, but I just have a feeling. I think they're going to get the win here despite all of the injuries. And yeah, I think the 49ers will win, and Kyle Shanahan will get his revenge on the Falcons. All right, heading to Monday Night Football, the first of two games, the Bucs and the Lions. I have the Lions winning 38-35. The Bucs last week took care of business against the 49ers, and the Lions, shockingly to some people, lost to the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. And I think this will be a really good game. And the deciding factor for me is the Lions' offense is nowhere near as banged up as the Bucs' offense. And both defenses are pretty banged up. And I'm just going to go with the offense that I trust. They're at home, the Lions are. So because of those reasons, I have the Lions squeaking out a close victory. And ending the week, we have the Texans taking on the Seahawks. I have the Seahawks winning 23-19. The Texans had a bye week last week, and the Seahawks were able to beat the Jags last week. And I'm not going to lie, this game could go either way, but I'm going to go with the team that I trust the offense more with in the Seahawks, just because I have Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba have been borderline unstoppable this year. And I think the Texans defense, although good, is going to struggle to stop those two. So yeah, I have the Seahawks winning this one and improving to 5-2. And there you have it. Here's all the scores lined up against each other. And I didn't mention this, but the Bills and Ravens are on bye weeks this week, so hence why I obviously didn't talk about them. But yeah, sorry this video is a little shorter and delayed. I know football is going to be on in about like 30 minutes, I think, from the time that you watch this. But yeah, thank you for watching if you have made it to this point in the video, and I will see you guys in my next video.